There's another article in the news this week, the CIA infiltration of church groups told. Now, many of you that have heard my shows before or read my articles know that I've said for a long time the CIA uses the churches as a front operation. They not only print their own money, but they use the churches. This article says that the CIA regularly infiltrated church groups and missionaries. This is an Associated Press story. It says abroad and at home, one man on the payroll of the CIA in Saigon received millions of dollars. A bishop. In 1971, the officer would fly from Saigon for secret meetings with him. The CIA is probing the investigation of the relationship of the missionaries and the CIA. There's a reference here to Bolivia, where the CIA agent had all sorts of contacts with the agents, and the priests were doing spying. Another Jesuit priest, Belgian priest, received $5 million from the CIA to help Eduardo Frei get elected president of Chile. There's a book, CIA Myth and Madness, that on page 57, page 73, talks about Mormon missionaries that are trained, recruited for the church. Then they're sent back by the CIA to the country where they did their missionary work earlier as then CIA agents. This is like Philip A.G., who tells before he joins the company, inside the company, he really has joined, but he's told to go into the military for 3 years and then you go to the CIA. So the military is training and getting his preparation first, but he's really a CIA those 3 years. Well, the Mormon missionaries are trained and recruited by the church, learn the language, then they're sent back as agents to those countries. I talk about the missionary Albert Osborne that sat on the bus going to Mexico with Lee Harvey Oswald, who ran a school for assassins down in Mexico, that they were not church people at all, funded by the FBI. And I've talked about the use of the World Council of Churches, the Greek Orthodox Church that brought Marina Oswald in and set up her connections to the far right-wing oil people in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and then took care of her financially with dresses, money, clothing to the Greek Orthodox Church. And I've alleged for many, many years, ever since Robert Kennedy was shot, that the Sirhan family was brought in by the Greek Orthodox Church when they left Palestine. In the early days, before it was Israel, at the time of the battle, it just became Israel. The country became Israel. The Sirhan family were Lutherans, and there were many children, and all of a sudden they came into a lot of money, and they were all flown to Pasadena under the Greek Orthodox Church, which was a spy agency. The Jordanian agency in Washington, D.C. had no record of the Sirhan family, and their transportation and the use of that family was through the Greek Orthodox Church, and they were brought to Pasadena. So the church-run educational operations in Colombia, in Bolivia, in Brazil are just a few of the agencies. They work inside the United States, in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, maybe in Carmel. I mean, we are not sure how many areas are infiltrated with church people, but the volumes in the Warren Commission hearings list some of the churches that were funded by the FBI, and these should be taken to the committees, the Senate committees investigating now. The documentation is printed between their own covers and examine the missionary down in Mexico, which is probably closed now, but that's the Murder Incorporated that Lyndon Johnson was talking about, that the CIA ran down in the Caribbean. It was in Mexico, funded by the various churches in California, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, money sent to schools for assassins disguised as churchmen. Well, I have about 12 or 14 more important articles here, but our time is up this week. As usual, it goes pretty fast. I couldn't cover them all. But next week we'll have Ted Sherate with us, and we'll talk about the Robert Kennedy assassination. Take care, and I'll see you next week on Dialogue Conspiracy.
This has been Dialogue Conspiracy with political research specialist May Brussell, who for 10 years has been researching the facts behind political assassinations and conspiracies in this country. Dialogue Conspiracy originates with KLRB FM in Carmel, California.